Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV5, and it is time for another episode of Destination Heartland, where we're going to take another virtual trip somewhere close to around Kansas City. Well, today we're headed about 3 hours out again to the Flint Hills. Now, this area is so vast. I know we explored some of it last week, but the area is so vast that I decided to, well, we're going to explore it again. So today we are diving in Council Grove, and I've got with me right now, I'm going to bring her up on screen, Zoe Waddick. She's with Conventions and Visitors Bureau in Council Grove. Hi, Zoe. How's it going today?
Hi, Sharon. Great. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. So, one of the things that I found so interesting about Council Grove is just the rich history of the area. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Council Grove has a vast history, and it's really interesting for visitors and residents to explore. Um, we just celebrated the 200th anniversary of the naming of Council Grove. It was 1825, and we've got lots of tools to help visitors along the way so they can enjoy their experience.
And one of the things, Zoe, is because of this rich history, there's a lot of cultural heritage to the area, too. And one of the things I was reading about is the connections to the Kaw Nation.
Yes, we have a deep heritage with the Kaw Nation, and we have a special event that's actually happening this year called Voices of the Wind People. And it's a beautifully depicted historical pageant that explores deeply the role of the Osage Nation, the Kaw Nation, and Council Grove settlers.
And so, one of the things that I found, which I thought was super interesting, is that Council Grove was actually named one of 15 best small towns to visit in America. Tell us about that designation.
Yeah, we were awarded that by Smithsonian Magazine in 2021. And since then, we've actually been nominated as by USA Today, the top 10 best small towns to visit in America.
That's so cool. And what is so cool about Council Grove and that whole area is the history, not only the history that, we hear about, but you can actually still see a lot of it there too.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have 25 designated historic sites that you can visit when you come to Council Grove. Everything from a cave that a hermit slept in to our post office Oak Museum, which is right on the Santa Fe Trail.
And also a lot in town too, like a lot of the old, not, yeah, a lot of old houses and buildings where you can see a lot of that history too.
Yes, our downtown landscape is littered with historical architecture, and it's really an architecture lover's dream to come walk around Council Grove.
And can you tell us a lot about, or a little about, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Alagawahu Memorial Heritage Park. That is really cool because it is ruins, right?
Yes, it's owned by the Kaw Nation, and it has recently had the addition of a updated welcome center that describes the history of the Kaw Nation in our area. And Alagawahu is a particularly special place to the Kaw Nation. They recently dedicated the sacred red rock from the Lawrence area and returned it home to the Kaw Nation in Alagawahu.
And not only just the Kaw Nation, but back to the Santa Fe Trail days too. There's some festivals and events recognizing that too as well.
Yes, in September, again, in conjunction with our Voices of the Wind People pageant, which happens on September 19th and 20th. After that, we're actually hosting the Santa Fe Trail Association Symposium, which is a 200th anniversary celebration of the Sibley Survey and the naming of Council Grove.
And so, there's so much there just in the history aspect alone, but the town itself of Council Grove is a really cool place to explore too.
Yes, our shopping and dining experience is like none other. We've got great restaurants, great brewery, lots of different little shops to peruse, and we welcome anyone to come visit.
And I saw for a lot of people who like antiquing, this is a great place for antiquing too.
Yes, we've got wonderful antique shops with a variety of different things that just delight everyone.
And so when people in general, when they go visit the Flint Hills, Council Groves is kind of a big stop along the way.
Yeah, the we're well placed on Route 177 and Route 56, and nearby is the Tallgrass Prairie, and we've got two lakes. So there's lots of outdoor recreation. We're proud to be one of the trailheads for the Flint Hills Nature Trail, and there's a lot to do here in Council Grove.
Yeah, and even in town itself, I was doing a lot of reading up on it. There's also a amphitheater, is that right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, our amphitheater is located at our new Neosho Riverwalk Park, and it's where we host different events, concerts, and our Voices of the Wind People pageant will be hosted there as well.
And then, you also have a lot of art there in the Flint Hills, too. And tell us a little bit about the Flint Hills Artisan Fair.
Well, the Flint Hills Artisan Fair is a put on by some local women here in town, and it's a juried art show where it's out in one of our parks, and they have beautiful tents set up and all sorts of different arts and things for to peruse or to buy.
And
Another great art opportunity in our area is Gathering in the Grove, which happens in conjunction with Candlelight Charm. And that is another juried art show where they come in and display lots of craftsman work from the Flint Hills area, not just paintings and fine art, but craftsman work as well.
and also, I was looking too, there's something fun for Halloween, too. What is Spooky Council Grove?
Spooky Council Grove is our annual Halloween bash, and we start it off every year with the kids' costume parade down Main Street. And it's just so fun to see hundreds of children lining the streets of Council Grove, and it's led by our Council Grove Trail Trolley. And spooky music is playing, and then after that, everyone kind of goes their separate ways to trick or treat around town. But it's a good, fun event for the whole family.
It's a good, fun event, a community, kind of a community event. And that's kind of what it is in Council Grove, right? It's a close knit community where people can kind of just go get a good slice of small town, Midwest living.
Yes, and we invite not only our community, our local community to participate in all of our events, but we invite our extended community too as well. We've got a lot to offer here in Council Grove.
And then as we head outside of Council Groves, we know we're in the Flint Hills area. This is a terrific area to kind of get out into the great outdoors.
Like I mentioned, we've got our two twin lakes and our Flint Hills Nature Trail. There's lots of camping, hunting, fishing options in our area. We've got hunting lodges that are great places to stay in town and guide services. So there's a lot, and quite a bit of that can be found on information about that can be found on our website at councilgrove.com.
And then you recently also had a designation that you landed because of the great outdoors, too. Tell us about Rails to Trails Hall of Fame.
Well, we were excited. We went up for a national vote. We were competing against two other major trails in the United States, and we won entry into the Rails to Trail Hall of Fame with our Flint Hills Nature Trail. And that nature trail stretches, I believe it's 94 miles, and there's plans for expansion.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, if someone were to come to Council Grove, also the Flint Hills area, but how long of a visit should they plan to Council Grove?
Well, I like to think that we're here for a nice day trip, a good weekend trip, or a week-long visit. We have so much history to explore, so many recreational activities. The shopping and dining is excellent. We're a total package here.
The total package. And the other question, too, that comes along with how long is when to come. What is the best time of year to come to Council Grove?
Well, I think if you paired it with one of our events, you would have kind of all year long is a great time to visit Council Grove. We've always got something going on. Summer's great if you like music festivals. We have our Washunga Days and Time Stands Still music festivals in the summer. Fall is wonderful because we have Voices of the Wind People or Seth Fest going on. The holidays are truly special in Council Grove. All of our shops and businesses light up their windows with warm Christmas lights, and candlelight charm happens. I believe that happens November 8th this year. So really all year long, there's wonderful things happening in our community.
I love it. And so, when people come to Council Grove, what are some of the better places to stay, or where should they look into for staying?
Well, our website is a good resource. It has most of our lodging options on it, and that's councilgrove.com/lodging. And we've got a huge variety of stay options here in Council Grove, from a historic hotel, the Cottage House, to lots of lovely upper level Airbnbs that are above our businesses on Main Street, to VRBOs on our lakes and our hunting lodges. We've just got something for everyone in the lodging department.
Yeah, and it sounds like Council Grove itself has a little something for everyone from history to, just outdoors. There is a little bit of everything in Council Grove.
Yes, I was fortunate to move to this community just 4 years ago, and I discovered that there is something for everyone. I have a nice big family that enjoys our time here, and there's always something for each of us to do.
And is it true too that like Council Grove is very close to other small towns too? So when people go to the Flint Hills, they can explore a lot of the small towns that have so much of this rich history in the Flint Hills.
Yeah, the Flint Hills Byway is a great access point, especially to go from Council Grove through Strong City into Cottonwood Falls and explore their heritage and their history. They've got their courthouse that is the oldest operating courthouse in Kansas, and there's a lot to see and do in between.
There's a lot of art on that courthouse too. I've noticed because
Yes,
we've talked to a couple people around the Flint Hills, and they all have the picture of the courthouse there.
yes, it's very dramatic.
Yeah. All right. Well, Zoe, that's about all we have for you today. Is there anything else that you want to let people know about Council Grove?
No, I think that Council Grove is just the perfect combination of history and recreation, shopping, dining, and it's a great place to spend a weekend, a week, or a lifetime.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Zoe.
Thank you for having me, Sharon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV5 News, and it is time for another episode of Destination Heartland. Remember, this is the new thing that we've got going here at KCTV5, where we explore some really cool places around the region that you may not necessarily know about. So today we're headed west again, about 150 miles or about 2 hours outside of KC on I-70. It's also known as the Eisenhower Interstate. And so that's where we're going today, is the hometown of the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. So right now what I want to do is bring in Julie Roller Weeks. She's the director of Abilene Convention and Visitors Bureau in Abilene. Julie, this is so amazing. I was looking into Abilene, and really, this is an award winning small town in the United States. Tell us all about that.
We have had an amazing year. I mean, amazing multiple years, but this year alone, 2 weeks ago, Newsweek named the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum the #1 best presidential attraction in the country. Our Abilene's Victorian Inn Bed and Breakfast was named the #3 best historical bed and breakfast by Newsweek as well. USA Today has named us a top 10 finalist for the last 5 or 6 years for best historic small town, and we're also one of the top true Western towns, which really celebrates our Old West days as well. Our Gunsmoke Trail won best collaboration from Midwest Destination. So we've really had just an amazing year, and it's great to have other people recognize what's so special about our community.
Oh my gosh, it is such an amazing community, just the history, the historical perspective there. Let's start with President Eisenhower, because this is where basically he grew up.
Yes, definitely. So, aside from being born in Denison, Texas, which we always want to celebrate our friends in Denison, they're great partners, Eisenhower grew up in Abilene, Kansas, and he truly was from the other side of the tracks. So, when you visit our community, you'll pull off Eisenhower's interstate system and you'll drive through town and go over several sets of railroad tracks. And so you see that he didn't come from a lot of wealth or anything like that, but just went on to accomplish some great things. And our favorite quote from Eisenhower is, "The proudest thing I can claim is that I am from Abilene." And I think that just encompasses it all. So we are home to the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum and Boyhood Home, and then also his final resting place. So when you think of General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, he could have been buried anywhere. But when it came time to making that decision, he wanted to come back to Abilene. So aside from being born in Denison, his entire life is represented on those 22 acres at the Presidential Library and Museum. So you'll tour his boyhood home in its original location. You'll go into the museum and learn all about Ike's life and legacy. And there's even an incredible room dedicated to Mamie Eisenhower, which we absolutely love. You'll see the library where we welcome researchers from around the country to come, and they conduct research on all types of things, whether it was Eisenhower and his love for baseball, or World War II, or his presidential years when little girls were sending him letters saying, "Please, please don't let or make Elvis cut his hair when he goes into the military." Just so many neat documents that they have at the library. There's the visitor center, and then, like I said, my favorite building is the place of meditation where Ike and Mamie and their first son Dowd are buried. It's just really somber, and just a special place on the campus.
And just such a special figure, too, in American history. I mean, he really made some key decisions for our country, especially in World War II.
Without a doubt, when you think about Eisenhower's life and legacy, he was a five-star general. Both parties wanted him to run as president on behalf of their party, which is really remarkable. Can you imagine something like that today? And then so many of the programs that were created during his administration, we still use today. Obviously, interstate system is pretty incredible. NASA, so many neat things, and the museum helps to highlight all of those. So whether you are a fan of General Eisenhower or President Eisenhower, or really have no connection, you will find at the museum so many things that really will teach you about Ike.
That is so neat. And moving outside of the historical aspect of President Eisenhower, you touched on this a little bit, which we're going to go a little back further now in history and talk about Abilene's Wild West heritage, because there's a lot there too.
Oh, there, absolutely. Can you imagine walking the streets in the
No.
1860s and 1870s in Abilene? We are the end of the Chisholm Trail. And so, what that means is in the 1860s, a man named Joseph McCoy identified a way to make some additional money off of cattle. And if he could drive them from Texas up to Abilene, Kansas, they could get on the rail and go to Eastern markets, and they would make a lot more money off of those cattle. So he enlisted the help of cowboys. They drove hundreds of thousands of head of cattle along the Chisholm Trail to
Wow.
Abilene. They got to Abilene, they boarded the train, the cowboys got paid, and they had a very, very good time. So all types of unsavory businesses popped up. There was gambling, there was dancing, there was lots of things. They had a great time, and Abilene became this wild and woolly cow town, and really one of the first cow towns of the West.
It was the wild, wild west, quite literally. That is awesome. You spoke about the Chisholm Trail, and actually, the town of Abilene, you guys have been working on a new project, which is really cool. It's called the Kansas Gunsmoke Trail. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is a really fun project and just another way that we can tell our cowboy story. Today, if you turn on television, you will still find Gunsmoke on TV. And several years ago, I was looking on Facebook and there was a group for Gunsmoke Trail or Gunsmoke fans. And I thought there's still like a fan club for this, television show that's been, many, many years old,
Yeah.
and started doing some digging. And there's like 150,000 people in it. And somebody said, "Are there still towns to visit in Kansas that connect to Gunsmoke?" And I thought, well, yeah, absolutely. So I enlisted my friends in Dodge City, Hayes, and Wichita, and we formed the Kansas Gunsmoke Trail. So what this is, there's special sites within all of our communities that help tell that cowboy story. We have a mobile passport that you can log in and you can check off places you visit. You earn prizes along the way, which are always super cool. And it's just a really neat way for us to package our cowboy story together to really celebrate it and give people a way to visit and just kind of make it easy for them.
Oh, that's so cool. And also at the same time, bringing together some of these towns for this one project, too.
Oh, definitely. We all have unique attractions to offer, and I think collectively we really just celebrate this story. And when you look at, international travelers, they have grown up hearing about the American cowboy, and they want to experience that. And so we want to make it easy for them, particularly as we look ahead to some exciting activities going on next year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And speaking of attractions, so Abilene, the town itself, has a population of 6,500 residents, but there are some big attractions, which we already talked about some of, but what are some of those other highlights that are there in Abilene?
Well, we have some big attractions in terms of visitation and also in size. So Abilene is home to the world's largest belt buckle. And if you visit, you can climb to the top and take a photo of yourself even wearing it. It is massive. It's at Eisenhower Park and Rose Garden, just outside of our rodeo grandstand. And it really has become just this incredible tourist attraction. We're also home to a big spur. It's just massive right in front of Riddle's Western Wear. It's a great photo op as well. And then last year, we unveiled the world's largest I Like Ike button. Um, Anyone that comes to visit Abilene, they can identify with that I Like Ike campaign. It was one of the most well known political campaigns ever. If I had a quarter for every time somebody visited and said, I had one of those buttons, I think I'd be pretty wealthy. And so we created the world's largest version of it, and it's just become a great photo op as well. So lots of neat things that are just larger than life.
Yeah, I was going to say some big attractions, quite literally. That is so
Yes,
funny.
yes.
Okay,
It's just great to have those roadside attractions. You can pull off the highway, they're always open, and it just helps you to get the flavor of our community.
oh, those are so much fun, especially when you see those roadside attractions saying, coming up, pull off here at this
Yeah,
exit. And then you go and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I did. This is really
right.
cool.
And then
Yeah.
once you're in town, you discover more and more things to see and do, and hopefully
Yes.
extend your visit and spend a little money along the way.
Right, exactly. Okay, so next year, of course, is the World Cup, which is going to be absolutely huge in our region because Kansas City is a host city. But let's not discount the other towns outside of the metro here, especially in Abilene. You've got some special
Yeah.
things planned there, too.
Definitely. So we've launched worldcupkansas.com, just a page within our website to help connect those visitors with some of our neat attractions and things to do relating to Eisenhower and World War II, and also our cowboy story, because we know they're going to want to come out and visit those. And then we also have a new website, americalikes.abilene.com, which is how we're leaning into America 250. Abilene is home to Kansas's first America 250 mural. As I traveled the country last year, I saw different states were already starting to add murals for America 250, and I thought, well, we need one as well. So we have one now, and it's just been really cool to add. To be able to celebrate America 250, and then obviously market, Abilene to those World Cup travelers. We want them to come out and experience, really Americana at its best and small town USA.
Yeah, and a very big, important part of history there, too, as well as we just talked about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes,
you
definitely.
know, a lot of people are kind of wrapping up the summer travel, but let's not, we don't need to hang up travel necessarily
Oh,
because now we're digging into the festivals, like the fall festival. So tell us about
yes.
some of the festivals and events that people can find in Abilene.
Well, we have great events year round, from starting in May with Antique Fest to the annual D-Day commemoration symphony at sunset at the Eisenhower Presidential Library in June. We have an incredible Central Kansas Free Fair and Wild Bill Hickok Rodeo at the end of July and 1st of August. But now we're getting ready for Oktoberfest. And so Abilene Oktoberfest really is a great celebration with German food, German dancers, music, everything that you would come to expect from a traditional Oktoberfest. And so that will be September 19th and 20th here in Abilene. And then as we look ahead through the fall, we're just really excited to have the Abilene and Smoky Valley Railroad. They'll be running pumpkin trains, which are a lot of fun for the kids to ride the train and be able to go out and pick up pumpkins along the way. And then our Christmas celebration is known as a Cowtown Christmas, which is very fitting. And so we recognize that people are busy. And so we cluster everything on one weekend to make it just an incredible holiday weekend in Abilene. So the first weekend of December, that first full weekend, is a Cowtown Christmas, December 6th and 7th. We have our annual Homes for the Holidays tour. When you visit Abilene, you'll notice all of the beautiful historic homes, and this is your chance to tour many of those. We have great events going on our Dickinson County Heritage Center, Old Abilene Town. The train will be running Santa trains. It's just a really great small town Christmas celebration known as Cowtown Christmas that first weekend of December.
Oh, I love that. That sounds so amazing. And for a
Great.
lot of our KCTV5 viewers who love to travel and experience, small towns like Abilene, tell us a little bit about the shopping and the local finds, especially unique gifts that you can find.
Abilene is certainly unique. We are not home to lots of chain businesses. They are locally owned, and I think we all feel good when we shop with a local business. So whether you're shopping for antiques at Yesterday's Rose or Abilene Downtown Antiques, we have an incredible downtown hardware store that has everything you never knew you would need at RHB Hardware. If you're looking for a pair of cowboy boots, Riddle's Western Wear can certainly hook you up. We have a wonderful locally owned independent bookstore, Rivendell Bookstore, great boutiques, Accent Boutique. If you want to make your own candles, if you could smell my office right now, it smells amazing with candles from Cypress Bridge Candle Company. They have a scent bar. You can build your own candle, which is super cool. Wilkins Acres also has one of the largest collections of Kansas made products you'll find on Interstate. So it's just such a great stop. And then everyone who visits Abilene must check out Russell Stover Factory Outlet.
Oh,
The back room has specials. So, a few months after a holiday, you can find just really great deals or chocolate that might be slightly misshapen on major sales. And then they have all of the traditional box chocolate as well. But the smells are free. You walk in, you're just greeted with this overwhelming aroma of chocolate, and it's amazing. They give samples as well, but it's just a great stop and the one I certainly encourage people to visit before they leave town.
oh, you had me at chocolate. I'll definitely be there for that.
Yes, yes. If it was
There's
good enough for Forrest Gump, it's good enough for us.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much there in Abilene, and maybe some people have been there already before, and maybe some people want to go. But talk a little bit about why they should put Abilene on their calendar, and maybe why should people come back?
I would say, like, if you've been to Abilene once, like, you must certainly return. We're not a town that just has one story or one song to sing. We continue to add new attractions that celebrate our history, that invite visitors back, that tell our story in a new way. Our cowboy art trail, we have 13 decorative or beautifully designed cowboy boots placed throughout the community. We have an incredible Abilene cowboy sculpture. I mentioned the big spur earlier, the world's largest belt buckle. That cowboy art is just super cool to check out. We have different Ike sites around the town. So whether they're murals for Eisenhower or statues honoring Eisenhower or just special places that relate to Eisenhower, that's a great one to follow as well. Our attractions are always working hard to enhance themselves. Our Dickinson County Heritage Center is adding a new farm toy museum, which is going to be super cool and one of the best in the Midwest. Coming up in the next couple of months here, we have new murals being added all the time. You can't just visit Abilene once, you have to come back.
Oh, that is so amazing. Julie, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. We've had such a great conversation, and now I have many, many reasons to visit Abilene, Kansas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share about our best historic small town. We really invite everyone to visit, and I hope to see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie. And that does it for this episode of Destination Heartland. Remember, you can tune in every Tuesday for our next virtual trip. It's been so much fun exploring all these places around the region that you don't necessarily know about. So you never know where we might end up. Until our next episode, I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV5 News.